So it took me 6 years or so to actually find some place. So now we'll see what happens.
So more about your stay here in Northern Ireland. You've been exhibiting art and you've had lectures. What have you thought of the local art scene here? Has anyone in particular's work inspired you?
Yeah, there's a lot of artists that I like here. Aisling O'Byrne and Brendan Jameson is going to have a show coming up here. Aisling I've curated her in other exhibitions, and there's a lot of artists here that I really enjoy. That's part of why I was glad to be invited to come here.
And do you feel your work is relevant here from the sort of violent metaphors and bombs that you used to make in your art?
Yes, most definitely. You know, as I said before, I started out with the idea of violence, and I'm in my peace and love phase now. And so, just as Northern Ireland and Belfast has sort of transformed itself and is going into this sort of new future, it's the same within my work. And you know, I'm not a supporter of violence. I'm actually sort of a utopian sort of idealist, so the fact that I'm moving into my peace and love phase, and the whole idea behind Caroline is sort of a rejection of violence and a rejection of societies that promote that, and sort of a hope and a dream for a new positive future. So
that's what we like, positivity. And what's next for the JEMA Museum?
It's going to the Indianapolis Museum of Art, and in a show called On Procession, and Cottage Industry at the Baltimore Contemporary Museum of Art, both this summer.
So we all love the Ulster Museum here, and I believe you love every single bit of it, even its dust.
Yes, I have an international collection of dust from different museums around the world, and the Ulster Museum is one of the museums that is featured in the collection. I take microscopic imagery of the dust, and I put it in a different format. Sometimes I show them just as digital prints, and other times what I also like to do is make them usable. And so these are drink coasters that people can actually, and I'm going to have a show, and when I have the show in Baltimore, I'm going to have at the Baltimore Contemporary Museum, people are going to actually drink their fancy drinks at the opening off of the dust of the museum.
Yeah, so, well, it's a clean way of representing it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the dust gets spread back out again then and enjoyed. Nothing gets wasted in the museum.
Of course, yes, it's all recycling, isn't it? And what reaction have you had to this project?
People really, I mean, people I think intuitively understand it, you know, in terms of it being in some ways like questioning aesthetics and questioning the charge that a museum has. When you go to a museum, everything kind of gets considered as art, even the stuff that's not, like fire extinguishers or things that might happen within the space, that can be considered art. And so if you see a little speck of dust, maybe that can be art too.
Is this an ongoing project? Are you still in search of more museums to?
Yeah, the JEMA Museum has been going on for 5 years, and the dust collection has been going on since 1996. So it's but dust is always plentiful. It never runs out. So I'm continuing my search, and I'm not getting tired of it at all. So.
But you said that some museums deny that they have dust.
Yeah, there's.
Really?
Yes, there's some museums are really like send me a big bag full of dust, but like for instance, the museum in Dallas, when they gave me dust, they sent a little baggie with this tiny little speck, and I thought, well, I thought everything was supposed to be big in Texas. I thought they were supposed to be really, you know, proud of their, you know, but so some people don't want me to think that there's any dust in their museum.
So some museums that you've approached have said no to this idea?
Yes, or some have refused to give me their names, but very few. Most people get it.
Can they really stop you going along and taking some yourself?
Well, that's the thing is a lot of the times I do just get it myself. I don't always ask. It's around.
So you're mischievous.
It's hard to explain to the guards because sometimes I'll walk in and I won't want to enjoy the art until I get a piece of dust, and so I'll be walking around trying to pretend to look at art but also looking for specks of dust on the ground.
A lot of our viewers are very interested in arts and culture. Where would we find out more information about your work?
Well, pretty soon the work that we're doing here will be loaded onto my website for the museum, where you can see all the archived works, and that's at www.jema.us.
And Gregory?
Well, I've had a website for about 5 or 6 years, but although I've actually built nuclear bombs, I'm not actually a very good technical person, and so it's been 5 years of one page and under construction. But if you simply Google my name, you'll get quite a bit of information, or you could contact Aeroplastic Contemporary in Brussels or Feigen, Thilo, Kins in New York City. Their websites, and there's quite a bit there. But there's a good amount.
So after your short stay in Northern Ireland, what are both of your future plans?
I'm going to Mayfest, which is a festival. There's a Bavarian town in Leavenworth, Washington, that arbitrarily kind of made themselves Bavarian. And there's 2 photographers I know that did a series of photographs on them with the people in lederhosen and stuff. But not a lot of them are of German descent. It's just something they decided to do to improve their tourism. And so I have these photos that I'm taking back to Mayfest that they took at Mayfest. And it's this big parade where everybody wears the lederhosen in Washington, like close to Seattle, Washington. So I'm doing that, and then I have shows at the Indianapolis Museum of Art and the Baltimore Museum, the Contemporary Museum in Baltimore.
Well, good luck with that. And Gregory, yourself?
Well, I'll actually be in the Baltimore Museum show as well, and I'll be going back into the studio. I have a number of group exhibitions coming up in the United States and in Europe, and I'm working on a one-person show in New York City for next spring, and also a one-person show in Brussels next spring as well.
So you work a lot together?
This
on
is
your
pretty,
art projects as well?
This is the first time, yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah.
And how did you two meet?
I contacted Gregory to be a visiting artist at our school because I'd heard of him for years. I've known his work and I've really enjoyed it. And I was looking on their website and I noticed that he was teaching there. And so I thought, oh, I wanted to meet him. So that's how. And
you're a university lecturer. What do your students think of your ideas?
I don't know. Sometimes they like my ideas. I like talking to them about my work, and they ask me a lot of questions about it. I think it's going pretty well.
Well, it was a pleasure having you here in the studios today, Sean and Gregory. Thank you very much. It was very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.